Now, the lead lawyer in the case seeking compensation for victims in the 1998 bombing attack at the Nairobi embassy, that is the U.S. embassy in Nairobi then, which killed more than 200 people, has called on the Senate ad hoc committee probing the compensation for victims of the attack to take up the matter with the United States Congress in order to fast-track compensation of victims. The new push for compensation of victims comes against the backdrop of the commemoration of the attack more than 2 decades later, with the victims receiving the short end of the stick. NTV's Melito Letenges now reports.
In an extensive report presented before the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Compensation of Victims of the 1998 bomb attack, Philip Mussolino, an attorney with the U.S., elaborates his in and out of court battles, chasing after the wind in the corridors of justice in the United States.
And I can tell you now that the U.S. Congress doesn't listen to me. I'm just an American lawyer. They will listen to this committee, and they need to hear from this committee.
More than 2 decades later since he started the quest for justice for victims of the attack, the U.S. government is yet to compensate them. Mussolino says it is not a battle he can win on his own, and that the Senate Ad Hoc Committee must take up the matter with the United States Congress.
You are their counterparts, and you are, in a sense, their colleagues in a larger sense than maybe the political sense. And the last thing is to be blunt about it.
The case, which had been dragging for years, has also attracted the attention of human rights activists in the U.S. who have blamed the U.S. government for only compensating their own and leaving out Kenyans who suffered collateral damage when the U.S. embassy was attacked, leaving more than 200 people dead.
I think that we are at a point now where the only thing that possibly explains why you've had to wait 25 years is because of an inherent bias that would allow folks to not value.
The Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Compensation of Victims of the Bomb Blast intends to pursue the compensation of victims through talks with the U.S. Congress, calling on the United States government to show commitment in settling the long-standing row.
That American government must walk the talk now and compensate these people so that they can at least live like people.
That we are not begging the American government. The reason why we are not begging is that we are looking at justice to Kenyans. Kenyans who got into a problem that they were not part of.
The new push for compensation by lawyers aims at prompting the U.S. Congress to include the Kenyan victims of terror in the Victims of Terror Fund in the U.S. Melita Letenges, and